Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're now tuned into the 411 podcast and reading Between the Wines, powered by the Black Diamond Consultations Network. More than a podcast, this is a sanctuary for self-discovery, healing, and personal growth. Here, we explore what it means to live debt-free, not just financially, but spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. Every episode is part of a journey across our weekly mentorship series: Spiritual Sundays, Mental Mondays, Transformational Tuesdays, Wind Down Wednesdays, Coaching Sessions Thursdays, and Financial Fridays. Each day holds space for wisdom, clarity, and real conversation. So grab your journal, pour your glass, and prepare to go beyond the surface. Because here, we don't just talk, we transform. And now, here's your guide through it all, entrepreneur, mentor, and founder of Black Diamond Consultations, Laren Gaines.
What's going on? What's going on? Welcome on in. Welcome to the 411 podcast. This is a new week, a new day, a new opportunity to get this thing right. I want to say thank you so much to everybody out there who is listening. Please do me a favor. Please like, comment, share, subscribe, retweet, tag a friend, text a friend, whatever you need to do to support this movement. I'm going to give you this thank you in advance, but if you can please just support this movement by doing what you can do to help support, and I definitely would appreciate that. Also want to give a very special thank you to my executive producer. I want to thank God for giving me another opportunity to come out here and do the right thing. So many different choices that we can make in life. We can either go left or we can either go right. And I'm so thankful that I did the right thing. And I'm here, and I want to say thank you again. Thank the Most High for keeping me on the right path. So, yeah, tonight, triggered, tired, and tapped out. Anybody out there, you have these feelings of being triggered, tired, and are you tapped out? Because we're going to go there tonight. Very special show tonight. This is episode 36 or the 411 podcast. This is part of the Black Diamond Consultations Mentorship series. This is Mental Monday, July 14th. We have a special guest coming in tonight. So stick around and see what we got in store. I will tell you that I had to stop myself when it comes to, preparing for the song of the day. I'm just going to put it out there. It's from my favorite artist. So I was just writing. I was writing. And I was getting emotionally into it, which, this artist brings out the emotions for a lot of people, and especially for me. So this is a good one because I was feeling the letter that was written in, and that's what inspired the title of the show, Triggered, Tired, and Tapped Out. And I just had to go back down memory lane. And so I started to write the song of the day, and I just kept writing, and I had to pull up because I'm like, it's almost showtime. So stick around. Song of the day is coming up soon. But before we go ahead and do that, I want to recap the last episode. We went to New Orleans. Shout out to anybody out there from New Orleans. We helped out Miss Jasmine, who was 26 from New Orleans. And common theme that we keep experiencing, and I'm here to help you. I've been there before, but a lot of people are in these situationships. A lot of people are in these friends with benefits. A lot of people are in these situations where they're unsure of what the game really is. That's a difficult game to play. For me personally, somebody's always going to lose. And I got tired of being on a losing end. Somebody's always going to catch feelings. Somebody is. We set up these standards. We set up these boundaries. But then after time goes on, we get a little weak because we caught up into the flesh, right? Because that's what we're going for. That's the first thing we're going for is fleshly insights. We're not going for the spiritual. We're not trying to get to know somebody on an intellectual level. We're going straight to physical. So that's the most part that's going to get you caught up, and your heart strings get caught up. And we know that the heart is the most wickedest part on your body. So you going down a slippery slope when that's the foundation that you think you're trying to build something on. So in any case, our girl was at about maybe $300, and I'll chalk it up. Maybe it might have been, let's just say $1,000. That's on the high scale. Low scale, we're going to say about 600, but she's admitting three, but we know there's probably extra stuff going on in that. What I have to say about this is consider yourself lucky and run. If that's all you spent, consider yourself lucky and run, because a lot of people, we get caught up in these situationships. We get caught up in these relationships. We get caught up in these friends with benefits. We get caught up in whatever that it is out there, whatever you want to call it, whatever label, whatever name. I don't care what it is. We get caught up with the wrong people. We get caught up with the wrong situation, and it starts to cost us not only emotionally, not mentally, because, not only that too, spiritually, because listen, it already started off wrong to begin with when that's the first thing you running and doing. And I think that that's the most powerful one right there, when you want to neglect the spiritual side just to go do something that puts you outside of your character of what God has put you here to be and do. That one there, that's going to take you down a whole road which leads to all of these other things. Physically, it can become a situation when you just ripping and running and doing things that you didn't necessarily sign up for. You knew that if you sat back and you thought that, I don't really want to do this, but I'm going to do it because I think that that's going to make the other person want me more. And then you know why we're here tonight. The financial aspect of it. How many of us have been there before? After you get caught up into these things, after the dust settles, after you wake up, this one here, 5 months. This took 5 months. Consider yourself lucky and run. Some people don't wake up that quick. And then now you're talking about thousands of dollars. You're talking about leasing cars and putting people on, apartment leases and moving in and getting pregnant and all types of other things. Consider yourself lucky and run. So we helped out Miss Jasmine from New Orleans. If you want to get the full gist of the story, go ahead and watch that replay. Everything is available on YouTube. Also, the audio versions are available where most podcasts are. And if there is a podcast platform that 411 Podcast Reading Between the Wines is not on, you can email me, you can DM me, you can text me, and we'll try to make that thing happen. And on that note, I want to say thank you so much to everybody out there who supports this movement, all of the new people who are out there joining and checking in from time to time. Do me a favor, please drop it in the comments. Let me know how you feel about the show, the vibe, the special guests. Let me know how you feel about the burning questions, of course, that we bring, the song of the day. So much valuable information that I take, and it helps shape and molds what we have coming in the future. So I definitely want to say thank you all for that. Also, anyone out there, if you've noticed that you go into your favorite platform, such as we've had an issue with D-Live, most recently we had an issue with X. If you realize that the show is not populating, sometimes there are some technical difficulties that happen. Just, again, let us know, and we'll get that corrected. Took me a minute to figure out what the issue was with D-Live, and I caught it, so the last episode didn't stream on X, but we should be up and running today. If anybody sees anything out there that says otherwise, let me know, and, I got you. What's going on, Miss SOS? Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I see you out there, and I got you. Tap the F out, but we're going to try to fix that tonight. I got you. Listen, this song of the day means a lot to me. This artist means a lot to me, and I personally have to remember who I am, and I have to remember what I've been through. And I want to thank my mentor for telling me songs like Life Will Pass You by Faith Evans. I had to remember Keep the Faith by Faith Evans. This past couple months has been a little interesting. I don't share everything with everybody, but When I come out here, I can share what I can share, and some things are between me and the Most High, but it has been a journey to get here. And we getting ready to do it tonight, and I'm going to explain why. Song of the day, Good Morning Gorgeous by the Queen of Hip Hop Soul, Miss Mary J.Blige, released in 2022 off of her album Good Morning Gorgeous. This song is very powerful to me. And years later, it's even more powerful. One line in this record resonates so deeply with me to this day. And I ask myself, will this ever get old? Will this song ever get played out for me? Because before Good Morning Gorgeous came out, it seems like everything that Mary was writing in this record, I was going through this transformation because I didn't really start to like click the whole self-love thing, understanding and know who you were until 2022. So it was kind of eerie that Good Morning Gorgeous came out after I started to experience some of these things. I'm like, yo, listen, I know, Mary, listen, I know we've been rocking for years. I've been rocking and I've been riding with you for years, but you got people like a wiretap to me or something? You got some hidden cameras? Because this came right on time. 2020 was the most, one of the most difficult times in my life. Some people call it a midlife crisis. Some people call it a nervous breakdown. I call it a spiritual awakening. The person who I was prior to that no longer exists. 2022, I hit rock bottom and I had no choice but to climb up out. 2022, it really didn't start to click though, because between 2020 and 2022, there was a lot of mixed emotions. There was a lot of still some baggage that I had to clean up. And even though it looked good on the surface, this is another Mary record, a whole damn year, even though I looked good on the surface, but I was a mess. I was a mess underneath. But it wasn't until 2022 until things started to click and this whole self-love and this whole self-care really started to make sense. Triggered, tired, and tapped out is the vibe that is being projected tonight through someone who wrote in tonight. Someone from the audience, somebody just like you, somebody just like me. And again, I'm on this Mary kick tonight. She has a record called You Ain't the Only One, that's from the Gratitude album. And that's just to let you know that tonight we're going to do some level setting to let you know that you are not the only one. I'm opening up and I'm sharing, and we're going to dissect this Good Morning Gorgeous piece by piece by piece because it resonates so deep. And don't ever forget where you come from. And when I say don't ever forget where you come from, don't let anybody tie you to that. Don't let anybody try to make you feel bad or sad from where you've come from. Don't ever forget where you come from. And the reason why I say that is to make sure that you do everything that you can within your power to make sure that you never go back. Recognizing that something isn't aligning properly internally is a sign of strength, and it could be a crucial step in taking your power back. Because in 2019, I knew that something wasn't right. I knew that the person that I keep waking up and being, that's not who I am. Everything that I see around me, the disgust, I got to watch the words that I say, but the way I was living was very foul in 2019. And I said, nah, you better than this. This ain't you. But I recognized that and I reached out to somebody and they helped me because I recognized that something ain't right. And that person ended up becoming my mentor and taught me a lot, continues to teach me a lot to this day. We're going to get into these lyrics here. Mary says, tell myself that it ain't healthy. Again, recognize what action steps are you going to take today? Because if you tell yourself that it ain't healthy, that means you know better. And if you know better, then it's time for us to do better. So tell myself that it ain't healthy. So if it ain't healthy, then what are we going to do about it? See, this Good Morning Gorgeous is sometimes getting with yourself. Everything starts with self. Not asking what the person next door says, not asking your best friends, not putting it on social media, not asking the people down on your job, not asking your family, not asking your best friend, getting with self, because everything starts with self. So when you tell yourself that it ain't healthy, what are we doing about it then? Second guessing, it don't help me. The question that I have to ask is, why second guess yourself today? You've been doing it for so long. Why continue to second guess yourself? When you know better, you do better. I'm so tired of feeling empty. Dry my eyes, it's time to fight. So feeling empty, crying, you got to dry your eyes, now you fighting. Let's back this thing up a bit. Why are you feeling empty? It's an important question to ask, because I can tell you what used to make me feel empty. When I would give myself to every little project, this, that, signing myself up to this, thinking that this is going to make me feel good, running here, taking my finances, depleting this, to buy this, to buy this, to do this, to do that, and felt just empty on the inside. Seeking validation, wanting somebody else to tell me that I look this way, that I am this way, that I'm that. Another Mary record, the one. Today I walk around telling myself that I'm the one. I don't need nobody else to tell me that I'm the one, because I know I'm the one. And you all should feel that same way too. They could look around, they could do all what they want to do, but that don't have nothing to do with me. That has everything to do with them, because I know who I am and there's only one me. So if you miss this opportunity today, especially the person that I am here today, what used to make me feel empty? Being on a hamster wheel, working for others before I decided to work for myself. Not surrendering to the Most High, clocking in and going to work, working for the Pharaoh. That was back when I was in captivity, stuck back in Egypt. But there has been an exodus. Mary says it seems like I'm always against me. I remember the back in the day when I was my own worst enemy. You don't have to worry about people out in the street doing you in. Most of the time, we do ourselves in from the internal dialogue before we even step out of the door. So let's not talk about what somebody says or what somebody feels about you. What is that internal dialogue? And the internal dialogue can be worse than anything, because guess what? You ain't got to say nothing. It's what's going on. It's that broken record that's being played round and round and round while you got your mouth shut, while you sitting quiet, while you're doing nothing, and you're sitting there telling yourself these same stories over and over and over again. And the question is it true? Because your subconscious mind doesn't care whether it's a lie or not, doesn't care whether it's the truth or not, doesn't care whether it's a joke or not. If you keep replaying that over and over and over again in your mind, what you think gonna happen? What you think gonna show up in the world? I've always said this. When you don't know who you are, you set yourself up for failure. I didn't know who I was back in the day, and all that did was attract the narcissistic, opportunistic individuals, and they can spot you a mile away. They can sniff an empath out, the people pleasing people, they can sniff them out a mile away. And after that point, it's open season, game on, and the sharks come out to feed. Mary says, seems like it's never ending, and I refuse to let it end me. Please, people out there, don't let it end you. Because remember, everything starts with self. Mentally, spiritually, physically, and I'm throwing this in there, financially. Mary says, I need my peace. That is the favorite line in this record for me. I need my peace. And don't let anybody tell you that self-care is selfish. You're being this or you're being that. As long as you ain't being prideful. Because listen, when pride comes, destruction is right there. Don't be prideful about it. Do what you have to do to take care of you. Don't disrespect nobody else. Set your boundaries. Have your standards set up. Trust me, it's worth it. Mary also has another song called Love Yourself. And she says, you have to love yourself if you really want to be with somebody else. A lot of times we want to be in these relationships and we want to get in these relationships, but we don't even know how to love ourselves. So why are we going to commit to something? Why are we going to sign up for something if we really don't even know how to love ourselves? Prior to 2019, I feel sorry for anybody who thought that they were in a relationship with me. And that's terrible to say, but it's just reality. Now, what comes after, what comes today, you're going to get the best version of me. But prior to that, I didn't even know how to love myself, so how could I love you? You got to feed yourself before you feed somebody else. Always wanting to pick somebody else up, always wanting to dust somebody else up, always want to clean up someone else before taking care and cleaning up yourself. Be the best version of you. And when you become the best version of yourself, the universe is going to give you that same identical version of yourself. Now, you got a problem with somebody always cheating, somebody always lying, somebody always being disrespectful. Remember, everything starts with self, and whatever, and we're all mirrors. We're all interconnected and one and the same. So all of those characteristics and all of those personalities that are showing up, and you can't believe why, I want you to believe it. The reason why that shows up because some of those things are in you. The person that you met just is bold enough to act it out. That's all. But you have those same things inside of you. And that's the universe telling you, now you need to do something different. You see this here? I'm showing you what's on the inside. Clean it up. You got to stay open and don't be foolish because everybody don't mean you well. Take care of you. You are no good to anybody surrounding you if you aren't good to yourself. It took me a minute, but I got it today. No more running from relationship to relationship, seeking validation in others outside of myself. And there's only one person that I can give credit to. And I give all of the praise, all of the honor, and all of the glory to the Most High for sobering me up because I was just like Beyonce, drunk in love. Drunk, didn't even sober up, just drunk, running from relationship to relationship, this situation to that situation. Like that song, looking for love in all the wrong places, looking for love in too many faces, races, looking for love. But we ain't doing that today. Song of the day, Good Morning Gorgeous, by Mary J.Blige, the Queen of Hip Hop Soul. I think I did enough. I think I did enough. So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my special guest. What's going on? What's going on? How are you? You still there? Or did I?
No, no, I'm here. What's going on, Aaron? What's going on?
What's good? What's good with you?
Not much, man. How you been?
I've been good. I've been good. How you been?
I've been better, but hanging in there, man. You know how it goes.
We have Mr. Nate in the building. Where are you representing? Where are you from?
Brooklyn, New York.
Brooke, I was just listening to Lil Kim today, Lighters Up. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this joint. I forgot about that. So, all right. So it's Mental Monday. We trying to clean our mental space. So how you feeling mentally tonight?
Mentally, I think I'm in a decent place mentally.
That's what's
I
up.
think I'm in a decent place.
Now, part of the mentorship series, we go
Yeah.
through real life scenarios here, and we're gonna dissect it. I'm gonna go through this scenario here, and I want you to give me and everybody who's listening your intake on it.
Okay.
Some people say I don't want to give any advice, this, that, the next, the other. We don't give advice here. This is not any advice. So if you come here for advice, if you're writing in for advice, that ain't it. I'm going to give you my opinion. My special guest Nate here is going to give you his opinion, what he would do, but we're not here to tell you what to do. So let's get into this tonight. Letter submission from Miss Ashley. She says, I am 37 living in Philly. What's going on, people out there in Philly? We close to home tonight. I am in Philly and I'm working as a middle school teacher. Lately, I feel like my life is one giant trigger. I am overwhelmed by everything: work, family, my relationship, and even my body image. It's like no matter how much I accomplish, I still feel empty. I've been going to therapy off and on for years, but while life gets busy, I put myself on the back burner. I'm noticing how that's catching up with me now. Small things send me spiraling, like someone raising their voice or missing a deadline at work. I either shut down or completely overreact. There is no middle ground. I've also realized my triggers are tied to how I grew up. My parents were emotionally unavailable, and I was taught early on to just deal with it. I'm starting to understand that I've been emotionally budgeting my entire life. Giving just enough to survive, but never investing in my own healing. Those are some deep words. How do
Mm.
I create how do I create real boundaries and coping tools so my triggers don't keep bankrupting my peace and relationships? I'll take that up to the top again. Ashley, 37, from Philly. She's working as a middle school teacher. Lately, she feels like her life is just one giant trigger. She is overwhelmed by everything: work, family, relationships, and even her body image. It's like no matter how much I accomplish, I still feel empty. I've been going to therapy on and off for years, but when life gets busy, I put myself on the back burner. I'm noticing how that's catching up with me now. Small things send me spiraling, like someone raising their voice or missing a deadline at work. I either shut down completely or overreact. There's no middle ground. I've also realized my triggers are tied to how I grew up. My parents were emotionally unavailable, and I was taught early on to just deal with it. I'm starting to understand that I've been emotionally budgeting my entire life, giving just enough to survive but never investing in my own healing. What do you think about this tonight?
Mm. That is a lot.
It
Um,
is.
I would say I think the best solution would be to try to make time for yourself to really sit. I think that's some of the things that work best for some people, not all people. But I definitely think you need to sit with some of this and just, take small steps that lead to bigger steps. Like start small, work on something small first, and then move on to the next. Try not to tackle everything all at once, because that's probably why you're feeling so much pressure.
Mm, taking on too much, huh? Yeah,
Yeah.
that definitely. This is we're gonna take it to the top. I'll see what I have here tonight. All right. She says she's overwhelmed by everything. So what you said as far as start small, that's some
Yeah.
great advice. Definitely want to start small because she says that she's overwhelmed by everything. This is why I say I need my peace is very important because when I start to feel a certain way, I got to remember that Mary line. I need my peace, and especially that club banger too. Good Morning Gorgeous, that immaculate remix. Listen, it'll put you in a trance when she keeps saying, I need my peace over and over and over again like that. Um, it's like no matter how much I accomplish, I still feel empty. I'm going to submit that the reason why you feel empty is because you don't know who you are.
Mm.
People who don't know who they are, you will feel empty. And ask me how I know, because that used to be me. So I say that we need to do some spiritual healing there.
Yeah.
And again, how you get to that part is like you said, sit with yourself. That was very bold statement when you said that because that is so true. You have to learn how to sit with yourself. Everything starts with self. What I've learned is that when people who have been traumatized, when people who have took on a lot, people who have, you know, doesn't matter whether it's childhood, whether it's you had a bad relationship, it could be to the point where they don't want to be alone because they're afraid to be alone. They feel like they need somebody else.
Mm.
Here's another line. She says that she's been going to therapy on and off for years. But when life gets busy, I put myself on the back burner. That's the problem. This whole line right here probably can sum up a lot of different things and clean up a lot of different things. I've been going through therapy on and off for years, but when life gets busy, I put myself on the back burner. Now, what I have to say about that, and I've been speaking to somebody else about this too, and I hope that you're listening. I hope you catch this replay. Absolutely not. Will we ever put ourselves on a back burner? If you don't take care of yourself, how can you help somebody else?
Yeah.
That's a problem. When we put ourselves on a back burner, things like this happen. And if you need to be in therapy because that's helped you, there should be no reason for the on and off, on and off. If that's what you need, that's what you need. If somebody needs professional help, that's what they need. If somebody needs to take medication to keep them on the right point, then that's what you need. Like if we figured out what the solution is to the problem, I think we probably should stick with it. Again, if this was me, I would stick with it. She's noticing how it's all catching up with her now. See, when we do things, I don't mean to take it there tonight, y'all, but I just have it in my spirit to speak the way I feel. Oh, it'll catch up to you. Because when we start to make other people, jobs, cars, money, materialistic things, when we turn them into gods, remember, God is a jealous God. And it will catch up to you. Now you're starting to see that it's catching up to you after you've done all of these other things and put everything else before you. Put everything else before God. This is something I could relate to. Says it'll send her spiraling. Well, I don't know what spiraling means to you, but for me, I would spiral out like the Tasmanian devil. And these were some things that would happen. So like somebody raising their voice. So when I was triggered, tired, and tapped out, somebody who raised their voice, oh, guess what? Both of us are raising our voices. But guess who's the loudest? Missing a deadline at work, oh, I was ready to cuss everybody out, including the boss. So I get it. Shut down. Anybody out there, they know how to give people the silent treatment? And you think that you're doing something to somebody because you're giving them the silent treatment? Oh, I'm just not going to say anything. I'm going to just shut down. Nate, what you know about the silent treatment?
I know it well. Sometimes you just gotta disappear from everybody and and just go from there, man. Sometimes sometimes your silence speaks louder than your actual words, if that makes sense.
It really does. And that is so profound. I'm so glad that you said that. Absolutely. Silence speaks louder than words. So when you feel like you're ready to spaz out, to spiral out like the Tasmanian devil, remember who you are. And if you sit down and be quiet, you will actually do more harm to the person than it is if you open up your mouth and went all the way in. But that requires self control. And I know that that's hard. That's why we're required to work on it every single day. But that silent treatment, and what I'm talking about, is when you are face to face with somebody and you think that you're giving them the best. You think that you're showing them up. You think that you're doing something. So you're just going to shut your mouth and mean mug them and don't say anything. That's silent treatment. When you do that, do you think that you win? I'm going to give you the answer. No. You actually harm yourself more than the other person because you're trying to teach them and you're trying to do something to them and you're actually poisoning your own system. We almost there. We almost there. Bear with me. I also realize my triggers are tied to how I grew up. See, a lot of people, we do some of these things because of stuff like this. My parents were emotionally unavailable, and I was taught earlier to just deal with it. Shut up. Stay in a child's place. Sometimes the men, we get it bad when they say boys aren't supposed to show their emotions. What you crying for? Why you this? Why you that? Yeah, how we grew up. And I'm starting to understand that I've been emotionally budgeting my entire life, giving just enough to survive, but never investing in my own healing. So this letter here basically lets me know that you know what the right thing to do is. You're just not doing it. So, Miss Ashley, if you're listening out there, I think you know what to do. You just got to go ahead and do it. You have to basically take action and stop going back and forth fighting with yourself. That's the hardest job right there, is to conquer self. Everything starts with self. And you're asking how you create real boundaries and coping tools so that your triggers don't keep bankrupting your peace and relationships. Build that relationship with yourself first. That's the first thing. Then worry about all those other things. And when you start to build and cultivate that relationship with yourself, you're going to start to set those boundaries real quick. Because if you fall in love with yourself in the right way, you're going to say, okay, this thing, this joint right here that I've experienced, what I have here, what I've manifested, oh, this is it. This is this joint right here. So this is the peaceful spot. This is where I need to be. And once you get a taste of that, if you really know who you are, you're not going to let nobody come in and destroy it. But you're going to have to get with yourself long enough to be able to figure that out. Nate, you still with me? What you got to add on this tonight?
I would definitely, well, pretty much what we said, like, when you have to take time out to really get to know oneself, I think you embark on a journey that you probably didn't even know that you had to go on, which is why I said, it's so necessary sometimes to just disappear. You don't owe nobody no explanation. It's
I,
your journey. It's your journey, and you resurface whenever you're ready to resurface.
wow, I'm writing that down right now. You owe nobody no explanation. I got to write that down. I like that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like, is you living with yourself. Like, no one else is gonna live. No one else is gonna live for you.
Mm.
So it's kind of like you owe nobody in that sense. Like you owe nobody.
You owe nobody no explanation. I always used to run around trying to explain why I feel a certain way, why this, why that. And then after I would explain why I feel a certain way and why this is happening, why that's happening, when a person didn't react the way I wanted them to, I would black out. Thank you for letting me know you owe nobody no explanation. Stop explaining yourself. Stop circling back to try to make things right. If the right people care about you, they gon' holler at you. They gonna check in on you. They gonna let you know that they still down for you. But I'll tell you, when you disappear and you get into silence, that'll let you know what people really feel about you.
Yeah,
Sometimes that's what they felt about you in the first place, but you were doing too much to even realize it and figure it out. Everybody got their own thing going on. Stop thinking that you so important. That's what I tell my everybody got their own thing going on. People can do who they want to be who they want to be. We are human beings. God has not put us here on earth to have control or dominion over another human being. So if somebody don't want to come outside and play, that's exactly what that means. Leave them alone. All right. So now I see Miss SOS out there. Thank you so much for commenting and says, "What's going on, Nate? Hey, Nate.
hey, what's
Philly.
going on? What's going on?
Miss said Miss Philly. That's a mouthful. It most certainly was. She says she can also relate. I believe that a lot of us can relate. I think the real ones can relate. People who can't look and see themselves inside this letter, I don't know. You might need to do some more searching here. Boundaries for everybody. There's nothing wrong with setting boundaries and having standards. I think I got into a couple relationships first and then decided to set the boundaries and standards after the fact. It's very important to do it in the beginning and make sure that they don't forget. And don't you forget. Some people will set boundaries and then draw a line in the sand and back up and say, okay, 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 that's fine.
That part, and then also people have tendencies to change things around too. So it's like, all right, can't just be changing
Ooh.
things around. Like, you know what I'm
Now,
saying? Like,
now, check this out. You just opened up a door. So remember what drawing a line in the sand and backing up and say, okay, 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 just don't do it again? That's
yeah,
one thing. When people show you who they are the first time, believe them the first time, not the second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. Stop thinking that things are going to change. When they cross those boundaries and mess up, that's exactly what that means. And I think that we will save ourselves some trouble, some hurt, some pain, some drama, some nonsense. That when they cross that line, the best thing that we can do is look them right in the face and say, thank you so much for showing me exactly who you are. It might hurt. It might sting. It might burn. They might look hot. They might be this. They might that. They might be. You might have thought that you were gonna marry them. We was gonna have kids together. It was gonna be it. We were going to be this power couple, this team. It could even be a friendship. It could be a co-worker on a job. When people show you who they are, believe them the first time. Stop trying to change people. Now, this part that you said, when people change, you said stop changing things. But
Yeah,
I actually
stop
want to,
changing things.
I actually want to throw it out there and say people can change because nothing stays the same and we're ever changing. So, for example, let's say that you got into a relationship with somebody that you thought was amazing and beautiful and wonderful, and y'all both had this agreement that this is going to be on point, right? And then 2 years down the line, you wake up and you realize that you don't want to be with this person because your eyes are fixed on somebody else and somebody is fixed on you. Do you think that it is good to just stay stuck in that situation, or is it okay to make a change and say, this situation that we had in the beginning, right now, it no longer works for me?
I think it's definitely appropriate to leave in that aspect. So what I mean by, let me say that again, like people change. So like if certain, let's say like for me, agreements are a big thing for me. Like because I've been placed in situations, as you know, Larry, where literally all I had was my word. And, you know, and it got me where I am now. You get what I'm saying? So I hold that a lot differently. So, but like you said, like if that happens over time naturally, then that's okay. But don't go breaking the agreements and stuff and then expect something different. But like you said, like you should believe them the first time who they are, you know. But the problem is with us is like still try to fix the situation because you desperately care, you know.
And a lot of people, and again, I'm speaking for myself, when that comes, that's a lack of self love. And I'm talking to Laren here, you were so lacking all types of love from all types of different directions that you got like a little boost, or you patted yourself on the back when you cleaned somebody else up who was off situation and you were, and you thought that that was going to be love because once I clean them up, then they going to love me because I done helped them out. But then listen, if
Ooh,
you
ooh,
if
I have a deep, now that you said that. So, right now, now in that sense, are you out for self? So were you ever really in it truly?
okay, I want you to
That's
add,
a that's a deep thing you just
I
said, which
want
is why I said
say it
that.
again. I want to make sure I get it right. Say it again now.
So you were saying, like, right, like after I clean them up, or they're gonna love me. So that means that you were out for self, not you per se, but some people truly are in that aspect, just out for self. Like, yeah, like this is gonna make people love me, and it's like, dog, like that's not that's not how it works. Like genuineness over over everything. But of course, respect and loyalty at the same time, which is why I said, which is why I segue like, oh, you just brought up a valid point because I know people who move like that, but with not the greatest intention.
Oh, oh no, you're absolutely right. Everything was about me, and you can say, oh, a narcissistic personality, but a lot of times you have that inside you, and that's what pulls out on the other end too from the other party. You It could come across as if you're trying to help somebody, right? It could come across as if you're trying to clean somebody up and help somebody, but like you said, it's for your benefit. That they're going to love me, they won't leave me, they're going to stay with me, they're going to be loyal to me. It's a little sick and twisted and weird scenario, but yeah. Now on my
Nah, but it
ass,
makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. Can't.
dysfunctional, not knowing what real love is, thinking that you can buy love. You can't buy love. You can have all of the money in the world. If that person don't want to be with you, they gonna find a way to get away from you.
I wouldn't
And
even say that's buying love. Yeah, I think it's just more so like I think some of us are fixers naturally.
people pleasers.
Yeah. But not even. So you know how somebody could, all right, so for example, right, somebody could be all lovely and mushy. That's just how they are. They might get with somebody that might be like, you're love bombing me, right? But then that causes confliction with the other person because that's just naturally who they are, right? There is no love bombing on purpose. This is just genuinely who they are. Like you said, through trauma or whatever. But for whatever reason, growing up, this is the person that they always were. You know what I'm saying? So in that aspect, could it? Could it also be not I'm trying to figure out a way
It, I
to
would
word it.
I would say like you, if I know what path you're going down, a lot of things like that is from past childhood traumas. It's something that happened with them between the ages of when conception all the way up until 7 years old. Those are the most powerful times of our lives, and we are shaped and where our lives are shaped and molded by whatever happened between 0 to 7. So if that person, like you say, love bombing, overly emotional, always affectionate, or maybe they didn't experience that as a child.
Precisely. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, you know what I'm saying? So
And
even because like I said, I'm speaking to me personally. I personally been in that, I've been that person because that, you know me, Larry, I'm just genuine off the rip. Like I'll give you the shirt off my back. You know what I mean? Like I've always been that type of person. So when you get with people who are not used to the affection and stuff, like you said, it's this, that, and the third. But even like with me, just speaking to me openly, I even had supporting cast, like my friends, close friends, family, even tell a person I was with, like, nah, he's always been this way. Like it's genuine, so it's nothing to be misconstrued. But when the person says, "Oh no, but you're doing this," and it conflicts a little bit. And I've been in that situation where like I dial back, but then
mm-hmm,
I told him I'm not doing enough. So then it's like, so then what are we here for? Like, what am I doing? You get what I'm saying?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. It's a lot of back and forth. Yeah, I would say think back to what makes you feel that you need to do or show up in a certain way when it comes to how you interact. Why do I feel this way? Why do I feel that I have to show up this way? For example, mine was the, like you said, people pleasing, the fixer upper. Like, I would have to say to myself, damn, this person looks hot, right? I feel it. What's wrong with them? Because there's a reason why I'm attracted to this person, because there has to be something wrong. What could I fix? So then I had to start telling myself, nah, stop that. Back up, back up, back up. We ain't here to fix nothing today, because I've been focusing on fixing me so that I don't have to turn around and try to fix somebody else. So that's what I mean, like back up. When you start to feel, I mean, you know it more than anybody else know it. You'd be like, oh, here's that thing again. This is what's showing up in this relationship. It showed up in the last relationship. It showed up in a relationship before. Let's do something a little different, because this is a game. Life is a game. And if we don't pass this board here, we're going to have to repeat it again. So if this relationship, we don't get it solved here, trust and believe that the next relationship is going to show up the same exact way until we get it. So for me, it was stop trying to fix people. Stop it. If so, now today I tell myself, do they align with me spiritually? Do they know who they are spiritually? Because if not, I'm not here to fix you and play this game here. Because I know who I am. So let's be on the same playing field. So for you, again, they gonna have to come with it. Like, you can't be the only one showing up and they're not showing up the same way. Like, this is a 50-50 type thing. When it comes to
No.
mental, listen, and I've tried this too. Like, listen, we all have our own little mental things that we got to deal with. But what I'm not going to do today is I'm not responsible for regulating your nervous system. It is a hard enough job to make sure that I show up and I don't bring out the old Laren and go in on people. Now, you think that I'm going to sit around here and worry about what's wrong with you and why you got mood swings up and down? I'm trying to keep mine in check so I show up the right way. So these are the things that I have to ask myself, because if this is what I didn't ask myself in the past, and then you end up trying to fix these people, and now you going back and forth and doing this dancing with people over their own stuff. That's your own stuff. Listen, I got mine, you got yours, they got theirs. We all have our own. Let's just be good people and take care of our own and show up the right way. And physically, Don't be trying to get into relationships with people who don't align with you physically. For example, somebody who don't want to do nothing, but you're an active person. Now you cussing and going back and forth with them because they want to sit on the couch and watch TV, but you want to be out active. You should have never gotten that situation in the first place. Now you're trying to change and shape somebody up, trying to send them out to the gym, or vice versa. You want to slow them down so they can Netflix and chill with you. Like, start to align yourself properly with people that way. And then, most importantly, a question that I've never asked in the past is, are you financially on point? Because there's nothing wrong with that. Because if one person is financially stable and the other one is not, we can't do that today. In the past, I used to, but that's not who I am today. And there's nothing wrong with that. All of those, spiritually, mentally, physically, financially, you want to be on point, and there's nothing wrong with telling somebody, nah, we just need to be friends. We need to back up and pull up a bit because this ain't it. What you got for us? What you got?
Nah, I'm definitely in agreement with everything that you said. Like I'm in agreement totally. Um,
It's hard
I,
though. Look back at whatever the way that we are now and how we operate. Some of us, we have to go back to when we were a child and try to figure out, why am I this way? Why do I do this? What
oh
happened?
yeah,
What could we do
and
to fix that? And I think that that's a big breakthrough for us in life, is when we go back and we try to figure it out, and then once we get it, now you have to make it you have to make it your business to just do something different. Like, I know, okay, listen, hey, I know that this happened. We all had some stuff happen, but now what am I going to do? I'm just going to do something different.
yeah. I mean, so for me, like I understand, like you got to meet people where they are, right? Because we encounter people at different points in their journey, and the choice ultimately rests with us, and if we want to deal with that per se, you get what I'm saying? So
Now, I like that. Thank you for bringing that up to me. Meet people where they are.
yeah, I
Absolutely.
mean, I think we do that all the time, right? Like we meet people in certain parts of their journey, right? Like so you might be way ahead in certain areas than your partner, but your partner is further ahead in areas that you're not, right? It's about forming that collective. You could teach, you know what I'm saying? You could always teach, but think that it's just a matter of the patience and the time, right? Obviously use your discernment when
Mm,
encountering those things, but it's ultimately your choice, right? You got to use your discernment. Do I want to
mm, mm,
sit
mm.
here and try to fix this? Is the person, you know what I'm saying? If the person's not trying, then of course that. But if the person is genuinely trying, then that's up to you. The ball's in your court. Just use your discernment with who you give your time with. And that's the best way to
Wow. Wow.
agree with what you're saying.
You're triggering a lot of things here tonight. Wow. Meet people where they are. Absolutely. And okay, so even though I went down the list of what I will not put up with today, right? There's nothing wrong that if you meet somebody where they are, they may not be 100% of everything. Like, is somebody really going to be 100%? But like you said, having that great level of discernment to ask yourself, can I put up with this? Like, you might not never be what I want you to be, because you may not be capable of being that. God has put us all here to do a certain thing. And yes, God has put the good people here, He's put the evil people there. So that person that is just going to drain you dry and take everything from you and be just the most disrespectful, downright dirty person, yeah, God has placed them there to teach you, to make sure that you're using your great level of discernment. That does not mean that that person who has been placed here and is doing exactly what God wants them to do, stop blaming everything on the devil. God has done exactly what He wants them to do. That doesn't mean that you're going to change them because you're not God and you can't play God. But for the people who are willing to learn, for the people who are here showing that they are capable of doing something different, they're showing progress. They're speaking with you. They're learning how to communicate with you like a human being. You ain't cussing, screaming, fighting. You can actually see that something is inside of that person. That might be somebody you might want to hold on to. And you never know. With time and patience, you have to ask yourself this question: do I have the time and the patience to endure this? Because if not, it is not fair to that individual. It is not fair to that individual that doesn't know what they don't know. People don't know what they don't know. I have seen it where people want to meet people where they are. And the only reason why I say it is because I used to be that person. I understood, but then I became very impatient. I did the 180 and I started to act differently and start to turn up on them because they weren't moving as fast as I wanted them to do. And that's wrong. That's not the right way to live. And anybody out there who's experienced anything like that, I will apologize.
Yeah, to piggyback off what you're saying, like I think we live in a society where it's such a now type of signature that patience is really lost its identity. So when you come across a person with patience and they're genuinely trying to be patient and work with you and accommodate you and like you said, use your discernment. If you know the person isn't trying, then it's like, all right, then I gotta make my exit. But if they're genuinely making an effort and you see the small steps, it might not be big leaps, but as long as you see some type of progression, right? Because at the end of the day, movement is movement.
Mm,
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it might not be at the pace that you want, but if it's enough for you to be like, oh, okay, I noticed that now, then obviously it caught your radar. It might not be accelerating to the level where you're at, but again, what happens if the person is more experienced in the area that you're not, but yet they have the ultimate patience with you versus you who might not have that patience,
mm.
right? So
All right, Nate, dropping bars tonight. I see. I see.
listen, man, you know me better than most, man. I've been
We
through a
that
lot, man.
we.
I'm talking from experience.
I see that there has been some growth here. There's been some growth and some movement here.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm. That's good. I listen. I've known you for since 2020, right? Yeah. So we talking about 5 years. Definitely not the same person.
yeah,
Definitely.
no,
And I, again, I don't know your journey, your personal journey, but from outside looking in, I would say a lot of the things that you are speaking and from the frequency that you're coming from tonight, that definitely has to do with you taking some time for yourself because that doesn't happen overnight.
yeah, man. I mean, like to what I said earlier, right? Because even recently, like when we spoke on the phone, just outside of this, like I told you, like I vanished from my birthday until maybe a couple weeks ago, and I just gave you the new number, right? And it
Hmm.
was nothing personal, which is what I told you. Like it's nothing personal. It's just that last situation made me reevaluate everything, like down to the people I deal with. It's like okay, like let me see. I gotta wait. I gotta see like how's everybody moving, and it's through no fault of anybody's own. It's just more so something significant happened that forced me to be like, oh, okay,
I,
things are not always what they appear, and I
hmm,
can't walk around here just so genuine all the time. Clearly,
I,
clearly.
I
So
know
I
what
had
you
to use
mean.
my discernment with with my genuineness. You get what I'm saying? So yeah.
I did the Steve Harvey challenge. I heard him say one time, look at your phone, right? And
Mhm.
anybody who hasn't texted you or called you within a year, delete their number. And I said, ooh, because I used to go back and forth, wanting to collect phone numbers and wanting to have people. And I said, oh, did I want to delete it? Do I want to delete it? I don't want to delete it. But I said, you know what? This was in 2020 during the pandemic. I said, let me just delete it anyway and see what happened. And those people never reached out. Maybe like a couple did here and there. And then when I noticed that their name wasn't showing up on my phone when it came across, there was
Yeah.
no need to say, who is this? I just never responded.
Mm.
Do the Steve Harvey challenge. I'm telling you, go through your phone. If you haven't texted or that number hasn't called you with over a year, and of course, I'm not saying, you know what? Let me just keep it real. I've
No,
done
I
it.
told you I got a new number. Like
Yeah.
no one has this number. Like you have it, and a select few have it. Like I think I'm so okay with my circle being the way it is now. Like it's cool. Like, I'm meeting everybody where they at. And that's
Remember,
fine.
you are only an average of the five closest people that you have around you. So if you're around people who are no good, people who are running the streets, people who are doing whatever, remember you're an average of the five closest people that you interact with on a daily basis. So if you keep your friends to a minimum and you can count them on one hand, consider yourself blessed. Those who feel that they need to be it, they need to have people tapping them all the time and be ripping and running and doing backflips for this one, that one, and next the other one. I just have to let you know that that ain't it. And I
Mhm.
was in a relationship where my friends have always been to a minimum. Just keep it real. And I've always been different. And today I get it. But I was with the wrong situation and the wrong individuals, and they made me feel bad for not having a whole bunch of people. They made me feel bad for not having people tapping my phone every 5 minutes and doing backflips. And then once I started to unleash things and get into the good book and start to read, and God opened up my eyes and ears to see it, I said, oh, so they got it wrong. I had it right the whole time. I just didn't know who I was. Yeah, be careful with that. Mm. All
I got a
right.
deep question for you, Laren. I got a
Go
deep
ahead.
question.
Yeah, yeah, go
Do
ahead.
you prefer loyalty or respect?
Can I say, um, mm,
Where does your loyalty lie? With those who I know their morals is high and they value way more than money can buy.
okay, loyalty or respect. This is kind of a tough one because I want to say, uh, I want to say respect is the first one because I can get caught up in the loyalty thing, but
Hmm.
a dog can be loyal, but that don't mean that that dog still ain't gonna piss and shit on your floor. Excuse my language, and then it'll still
Yeah.
be loyal to you, but it's still gonna cause havoc and wreak havoc. It'll chew your stuff up, pee on stuff, and but it's still loyal. You call it, it'll still come. A dog can be loyal,
Hmm.
but respecting the boundaries, respecting the standards and what we agree with and what we say we're going to do and how we're going to show up. I think that that's more important to me.
You know
That
what's crazy? I feel like respect is earned over time.
um
To me, I feel like there's a period where loyalty and respect is earned over time. But I feel like loyalty kicks in where, let's just say, God forbid, you're in a situation and it's not cool to be around you, but I'm right there with you in the mud, even when it's not pretty. When
mm,
it's sunny, I'm with you. When we in the trenches, I'm there with you. Like you look over, I'm right there in the foxhole with you.
that's in
I
the
feel
Bible.
like you can still have respect, but you can still leave. Like, oh yeah, I respect myself enough to like get away from you because the pressure's getting hot around you or whatever circumstance
Mm-hmm.
you're in.
Mm-hmm.
But loyalty to me is a big thing. Like I'm gonna be with you in the sleet, rain, snow, whatever. Like I'm here with you.
I can't figure out the scripture, but that's in there too. When somebody's down, don't kick them while they down. Be there, support them. I got you. Mm-hmm. I be knowing these things. I'm gonna get to the point though when I'm gonna be able to start reciting these scriptures right off the bat. But I'm work in progress.
We all are.
But yeah,
Amen.
I got you on that one. I like that. I like that. SOS says, well, when we were talking about meeting halfway, she says, well, what I mean is you will meet them where they are, but it doesn't mean you want to join them. That's deep. Listen, I'll meet you where you are, but listen, I ain't gonna join in that foolishness. What you got going on there? Just
Yeah.
understand that you are meeting them while they're on their journey. So are you.
Yes. I
Mm,
agree. I totally agree with you, SOS. But like I said, that's why I also say use your discernment. At the
yeah.
end of the day, we have that choice whether or not we want to fully ingratiate or integrate ourselves in that situation. We have that discernment, like, okay, like, do I really want to deal with this? Because, like you said, Aaron, like, and that's another thing. A lot of us have lived a lot of life and at a young age. Like, I'm only 29, but I did all that in my teens. So it's
Mm-hmm.
like you could be ready to settle down earlier than somebody else. You get what I'm saying? Because some people didn't get a chance to live. So when you have that understanding, if you're dealing with somebody that hasn't had that chance to live yet, and it's like, I've been outside already, but you know what? Okay, like, do I really want to do it? You know what I'm saying? But it's something small, but it could be something big to you. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. You should discern it.
How you said you're 29. I want to let you know that when you hit your 30s, your life is going to change. When you hit your 40s, your life is going to change. So you got some
Yeah.
big changes coming up, and you'll just be like, "What in the world just happened? What happened?" I thought I had a life changing situation in my 30s. I was like, "Oh shoot, I'm good now." And then when 40 came, I said, "Wow." And I forgot who I was speaking to. I think it was Queen Dawn Spirit. She was like, "Yeah, you shift every so often. Your life
Yeah.
shifts." Mm. Yes, Miss SOS, we have been here since 2020, and I want to say thank you because I remember when I first started podcasting, there was not a soul out there. Wasn't a soul out there, and all of a sudden you just popped out of nowhere. I'd love to ask you that if when you come on the show, like what happened? How did you end up just showing up one day? But yeah, it was interesting. We still here 5 years later. Thankful for it.
Amen.
All right, now's the time where we go ahead and get into the next part of the show. This is Burning Questions. If you want to chime in on tonight of how we feeling tonight, the vibe, let us know how you feel. Feel free to reach out 609-200-1098. You can let me know how you feel about the show. Let me know how you feel about the assignment that we dug into tonight. You can chime in on this burning question. I am on social media as well. If you are streaming and listening from any of the social media platforms, please feel free to DM me. If you like, you may also email me info@larengaines.com and you can submit your own letter and we'll do our very best to dissect it and give you our opinion, not any advice. You have to do your own due diligence when it comes to mental health, when it comes to financial health and wellness. Do your due diligence. Don't take anything for face value. Burning questions. Are you mentally overwhelmed or are you emotionally overdue for boundaries you keep postponing? I'll read that again. Are you mentally overwhelmed or are you emotionally overdue for boundaries you keep postponing? So I want you to
Mm.
think back to when you get out of control. For example, when I look at the old version of myself, when I used to be the Tasmanian devil, was I really mentally overwhelmed or was I just overdue for setting some boundaries and saying, absolutely not, we're not doing this? And then the bigger question is when someone does overstep those boundaries, if that's what we say it is, what's your reaction after that?
Mm.
So, listen,
Um,
these are some rhetorical questions. I want you all to think about this. I want you to look at your own life. And sometimes this doesn't require us to respond right here immediately. I started to use the burning questions as something that we can journal about because I know it was fun in the beginning. We put people on the spot, we try to answer right away, but if you can't answer, there's nothing wrong with that. How you feel about tonight's burning question?
Definitely an interesting question. Let's say no, I'm mentally overwhelmed at the moment.
Mentally overwhelmed. Now,
Mentally overwhelmed.
let's dissect this. So, thank you so much for being vulnerable and recognizing it. I spoke about that in the beginning of the show. When you recognize, you already know that the internal dialogue is not flowing the way that it should. So something internally is not jiving right. So the fact that you can recognize that this is a crucial moment, this could be a breakthrough moment because I recognized in 2019 I'm tired of cussing people out. I'm tired of fighting. I'm tired of twisting my face up like that and seeing people look at me look like I'm ugly. I was tired of it. Now people look at me as this handsome, beautiful man, and I know who I am today. But before, back in the day, I could understand why they would run. So the internal dialogue was saying, "It ain't this, ain't it, this ain't it." So then I ran into my spiritual mentor, and she was able to help me. She was able to help me and teach me how to set up boundaries and how to have standards and say, absolutely not. This is not happening. So, are we mentally overwhelmed because of the stuff that we attach ourselves to or the people that we allow to sneak through the gate when the padlock should have been on it? And I've seen this type of personality before. I know who you are. And guess what? You are not invited. Absolutely not. That might be it. I don't know. I'm only, I can only let you know what I did. So when we're emotionally overwhelmed, why? We got to ask ourselves why. What am I doing? Did I sign up for this? Do I want this in my life?
Mm.
Sometimes we can be mentally overwhelmed because of our environment. What does your environment look like? Like if you have a like okay, so I became mentally overwhelmed because my environment was disgusting. Um, Not from my doing, but people who hoard, people who collect things and junk, and if the floors are not swept clean, if I can't walk around my floor barefoot and feel good about it and feel confident, absolutely not. That could be mentally overwhelming. How about our jobs that we sign up for?
Yeah.
Just gotta have this job, gotta have this job, gotta have this promotion. It's all about chasing the bag. It's all about this, all about that. And then you get there and then now you can't handle it. But
Yeah.
you gotta have this, you gotta have that. You begged for the promotion. You fought tooth and nail to get the promotion, and now you got it. You can't sleep good at night. So I would just submit to that to do some journaling. Take this question: are you mentally overwhelmed or are you emotionally overdue for boundaries you keep postponing? There might be something that's triggering this and something that you don't like, but maybe you're not bringing it to the forefront to say absolutely not. And a
Yeah.
postponement probably is with self.
Remember that poetry project I dropped a while ago? There, energy and soul separately, man.
And
Soul separately.
yeah,
Telling you.
when is that coming out anyway?
um, that that came out what 2 years ago now. Um,
The actual
I'm working
book.
on Rebirth right now. That's the one I'm actually very proud of. I was supposed to do Halloween project. This is known, but it got leaked that I was gonna do it and with the title, so I had to like scrap it. But this just came out of the Rebirth project. Just came out of whatever I was going through recently. It was just birth. So that's what
And
we're working on right now.
physical copies or digital?
Both.
That's what's up.
Well, yeah.
Well, you know, you don't have to come back and read some poetry, come on reading between the lines and all that
Oh
great
yeah,
stuff.
for sure. Sure.
All right, so we're going to get out of here. I want to say thank you so much for joining. I know that this was your first show for Mental Mondays, part of the mentorship series. Anything that you like to share, like what the new experience is, the new format of the show? How do you feel? And we could take some of that feedback.
Man,
What you
bro,
feel?
I honestly love what you're doing, man. I think you've provided a safe space, and this is something you spoke about when we first met, when you were podcasting. Um, ironically, you hit me up. I don't know if you remember. You hit me up first because I was still doing free photo shoots at the time and stuff like that, and to see how far you've come is a blessing. But I remember the very foundation of what you wanted this podcast to do was to be able to help people, and you've clearly done that and more. So you're doing whatever you're doing whatever you set yourself out to do, and you're sticking to those values and those traditions. So I'm extremely proud of you.
Well, I appreciate that. I most certainly couldn't do it without you. Yo, I wasn't around for no free photo shoots. No, I'm kidding. But no, listen. So listen, majority of the photos out there. Listen, Nate Perry, man, you have hooked us up. You have helped tremendously. I couldn't do it without you. It's one thing because I work with so many different photographers, and if you're not comfortable with the person, it just don't work. It almost reminds me of like an artist when they match up with the wrong producer and it just don't come out right.
Yeah.
So like for me to get into my swag style, my moment, the element, put it that way, that's the right wording. For me to get in my element, I got to be comfortable with you because everybody don't get that side of me. So I'm very, let me not speak words that I'm trying to break out of, but I'm a certain way. Like when we come off of the podcast, it's different. Some people be like, "Hey, yo, like I thought that you were gonna be like this. I thought you were gonna be like that." It's different. We
Yeah,
we
people
all
don't even really know. Like me and you were like really close, like outside of the podcast too. So it's like you said, it's different.
yeah.
It's different. It's different.
But I see the growth. I think it's amazing. I couldn't do anything like this without you. We got projects coming in the future. Like what you have done for the 4-1 podcast reading between the wines as far as like the from the photography aspect of it, being able to paint that picture to give people but it's just a lot. It's a lot. You have it. You have it. Like whatever I feel like there are no mistakes. There are no coincidences in life. Like every single person that I met on this show, through this show virtually since the pandemic when we were locked down, and this is the birth of it and how it started. It was all divinely orchestrated, and that's the only thing I could say. That's the only thing I can say. We are here 5 years strong, still doing it, and next year, watch out.
Right.
Next year, watch out because we definitely got some heat coming.
We do.
All right. All right. So you take us out here. Give us any final words as we
Um,
get out of here.
Take care of your mental health. Um, Make sure you're taking care of yourself spiritually and just stay true to who you are. I think those are the closing words I want to give for tonight. That was on my heart to say.
Absolutely. Yes. I love that. Don't forget who you are. I think that's common. He has a record. Don't forget who you are. That is so important. Common and PJ, I think. Yeah. Check that out, y'all. All right. So next week, same place, same time.
Yes, sir.
All right. So Nate will be back next week. We can finish this up next week. And all right. I'll talk to you.
All right, guys, have a blessed night. Larry, my brother, I love you, man, and I'll talk to you later.
Love you too. All right. See you.
Right.
SOS. Thank you so much. Living in an RV temporarily. That's my environment. Had to move out of that apartment. Listen, let me know about that RV life. Listen, I like that. Being able to drive all over the country. See, I can see that. Okay. Oh my goodness. I know I got to get out of here, but you just basically opened up a door. So, yes, I like the idea of living in an RV, like driving around the entire country and stuff. But check this out. In New Jersey, in broad daylight, what was it last week? Probably Thursday. Okay. So, I did the Reading Between the Wine show. And Thursday, I attempted to visit a winery that is in New Jersey. It's in I'm not even gonna say it because I people will be able to figure it out, and I don't want to put a bad name on this winery. But the only thing I have to say about it is absolutely not. When I'm nervous during the daytime, I can't imagine what that environment looked like at night. And this is in New Jersey, about 25 minutes from where I'm at. But that 25 minutes seemed like I was on that road for about an hour. How does 25 minutes turn to an hour? It reminded me of like The Hills Have Eyes. I watched so many scary movies back in the day. Um, creepy little town. Ain't nobody, just me driving, and I'm trying to get to this winery, and I got an electric car and the battery level. I was just like, listen, I can't do this. So the RV thing, I have done some research on it, and I've listened to people who say if you are a scary type person, like any type of noise or any bump in the night is going to make you feel a certain way, don't drive and park at certain places. You have to be in a good environment. So I like the idea of having an RV or a camper and driving around, but when they told me about parking some places and no strange noises and stuff, listen, I can get spooked in the daytime. Like I said, I went to go visit a winery broad daylight. It was 10, 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. And I said, what the? And that GPS took me this way. GPS took me that way. No signs for a winery. How are you going to be a business when there's no signs for a winery? Not one in sight. And like I said, it looked like the hills have eyes. If anybody have seen the movie Wrong Turn, this is in New Jersey. That's exactly what reminded me of. And if this winery shuts down today or tomorrow, it don't have nothing to do with me, because I don't care if they updated the directions. I don't care if they put all types of signs out. Winery here, turn left, turn right. They don't ever have to worry about Laren going up there ever again. I don't care whether I'm driving or somebody else is driving. We got a full tank of gas. I'm not doing it. Absolutely not. Some places you just know once you get that feeling we don't belong here, that was it. Thank you so much, SOS, for that. Thank you, Nate. I appreciate it. And well, that's good that your RV stays parked, because I'd like to drive around, but only during the daytime. And I want to be parked in nice, well lit areas. Yeah, because we don't play that game. Now, thank you so much to everybody out there. If there's something that you heard tonight that sparked some sort of interest, you can head on over to LarenGaines.com. And in that, you can sign up for a free 15-minute consultation. Again, I focus on debt-free living from the lens of spiritual, mental, physical, financial. I do believe that it is very important to have a great spiritual foundation to know who you are. A lot of mistakes that we make financially comes from us not knowing who we are. And through the scenarios, through the assignments that we go through here night after night, these are some great examples of people who, unfortunately, they are lacking when it comes to some of the spiritual realm, not understanding and knowing who they are, which can pour into the finances. Ask me how I know, because that used to be me. Once you know who you are, people will know who you are, and they will no longer be able to shape mold you and twist you into something that reminds you of like silly putty or Play-Doh. When you don't know who you are, you're setting yourself up to be able to be shaped and molded by somebody else. And when you wake up and you realize, nah, I don't want to be shaped like this. I don't like this. I don't like that. That's where resentment and a whole bunch of other issues come into fact. So let's try to clean that up before we get to that part. And then I also truly believe that the mental state, how we feel about money, a lot of things of how we feel about money is because of what we have been downloaded and what we've been programmed with and inherited from generations and generations and generations of how they dealt with money and how they felt about money. Some people don't like money. I can't tell you how many times that I interact with people who say that they don't like money. That's a problem. I personally believe it's a problem, because I don't think I've ever been to a situation where I spoke those words out of my mouth, and I absolutely won't. That ain't happening. But there are some people who have done some or had some difficult dealings with money, and then they think that money is evil. Money is this. They believe that old twisted thing where they say money is the root of all evil. That ain't it. That's somebody misquoting scripture. Money is not the root of all evil, but the love of money is the root of all evil, because we are supposed to love people and use the money. But what people are doing today is loving the money, using the people. For the love of money is the root of all evil. Money isn't the root of all evil. If you love money more than you love people, yeah, That could be evil. And then the physical. I pray for a lot of people out there when it comes to how they show up from a physical aspect, when it comes to how they're dealing with their money. A lot of it's just reckless, impulsive spending, and a lot of it comes from food addictions, drug addictions, alcohol addictions, and that's how we're physically showing up. Impulsive spending, shopping, buying. Somebody said this about me. Somebody broke up with me. Somebody did this. Somebody did that. Now I need to go on a shopping spree. I need to show them that I'm doing something really big, and I need to post it on the gram and do this and do that. That's the physical aspect. And then the financial aspect of it, that is a whole Pandora's box that I can open up, and we can sit here and speak finances for hours, for days, for weeks, for months, for years. It's endless. Once you tackle the other three, it just makes the last one so much easier. And again, this is just my way of teaching financial literacy. Again, you can head on over to LarenGaines.com. Sign up for that free 15-minute consultation if you want to learn about debt-free living. That is not for everybody. Some people don't believe in debt-free living. Some people love to borrow other people's money. Some people love to live off of the system. Some people love to swipe credit cards left and right. Some people love payday loans. Some people love robbing Peter to pay Paul. I don't. Not saying that I didn't do those things. But again, I had an awakening and I realized that, nah, that ain't it. You can also sign up for my free monthly newsletter, Whispers of Wisdom. You can head over to Laren Gaines for that. Awesome, inspirational, debt-free living content delivered to your inbox once a month. If this is your first time, if you're coming across this replay, this is the first time if you've heard anything about this, I would say that would be a great start. Sign up for the newsletter first. Come back, listen to the podcast. We're here very randomly. Check out all of the social media platforms. There is daily content posted on every single platform. So just check it out from Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, DLive, Twitch, Daily Motion. You never know what's going to be posted. Sometimes we do surprise live events. So just stay tuned, stay posted. And I definitely do appreciate each and every one of you out there listening. We have Wind Down Wednesday coming up soon. So come back. I think I'm going to have a surprise when it comes to the wine. Still debating as far as what we're going to sample here, but I want to give you all a good one. We had a great show last week, and of course, we're going to do the same thing again this week. So thank you so much.
5,
I will see
4,
you when I see you.
3,
8,
2,
SOS, everybody
1.
else out there, thank
and
you.
that's a wrap on today's episode of the 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wines, where growth is always on the menu, and every pour reveals a little more truth. The conversation doesn't end here. Have something to say? Want to weigh in on tonight's burning questions? Text us anytime at the official 411 podcast and Reading Between the Wines hotline at 609-200-1098. Stay plugged in across all social media platforms at Laren Gaines. We're live and in the conversation on Facebook, Instagram, X, TikTok, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, and Daily Motion. Prefer to listen on the go? The audio version is streaming on most major podcast outlets. Until we meet again, take what you've learned, sip slow, speak truth, and remember, transformation starts within. Powered by the Black Diamond Consultations Network.